Good morning, everybody. My name is Ashwin Analalaki Prakash, and my metric number is 01DFI25F1047. Today, I'll be explaining about how the government budget influences the cost of living in Malaysia and the risk of government spending continues to increase. So, first, let's start with how the government budget influences the cost of living. Firstly, we got subsidies. One important way to influence cost of living is through subsidies. For example, subsidies on fuel, electricity, and basic food items to help to keep prices lower. When the government provides these subsidies, households spend less on daily necessities, which reduces financial pressure. Second, we got cash assistance program. Cash assistance program is a government provide cash to people such as direct financial aid to low and middle class income group. This increases people disposable income, allowing them to better cope with rising prices. As a result, even if inflation occurs, households still have some financial support. Then we got taxes. So taxation, if the government increases tax like sales and service tax, businesses may pass the cost of consumers, causing price of goods and services to rise. This directly increases the cost of living. And finally, we got government spending on public services. Government spending on public services such as healthcare, education, and public transport can reduce household expenses. When these services are affordable to subsidize, people do not need to spend as much from their own income. Okay, now moving to the second part. Risk of Malaysia's fiscal position if spending increases. First, we got budget deficit increases. Although higher government spending can support the economy, it may lead to budget deficit. If the government expenses exceed revenue, this means the government needs to borrow money to cover up the gap. Second, we got higher national debt. As borrowing increases, national debt also rises. A high level of debt can become a long-term burden because the government must repay both principal amount and interest. Over time, this reduces the funds available for development. Thirdly, we got interest payment burden. Increase in risk payment. So, when the debt becomes large, a significant portion of government budget must be used just to pay interest, limiting spending on important sectors like education and infrastructures. And finally, we got risk of inflation. Excessive government spending can lead to inflation. When too much money is injected into the economy, demand increases faster than supply, causing prices to rise further and worsening the cost of living. Finally, in conclusion, the government budget has a strong impact on the cost of living through subsidies, taxes, and public spending. However, if spending is not managed carefully, it can create serious fiscal risk in long run. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Adi Shubhalan Analalaki Raju. My metric number is 01DFI25F1034. Today, I will explain two important strategies that SMEs can use to cope with rising living costs and increasing business expenses. As we know, many businesses today are facing higher costs such as raw material, transportation, and utilities. This situation makes it harder for SMEs to maintain their profits. Therefore, they must take smart action to improve. The first strategy is cost management and efficiency improvement. This means businesses must control their expenses carefully. They should identify and reduce unnecessary spending. For example, they can save electricity by using energy efficient equipment or switching off machines when not in use. In addition, SMEs can improve efficiency by using digital technology. For instance, using online system for accounting and communication can reduce manual work and save time. This helps the businesses operate more efficiently while lowering costs. Another important step is proper financial planning. Businesses should prepare a budget and monitor their cash flow regularly. This allows them to avoid overspending and manage their money better. The second strategy is diversification and innovation. SMEs should not depend on only one product or services. They can introduce new products or improve their existing one to meet customers' need. This helps attract more customers and increase sales. Innovation is also important. Businesses can improve their product quality, packaging, or services to stay competitive in the market. Moreover, SMEs can use online platforms such as social media and e-commerce to promote their product. This helps them reach a wider audience at a lower cost compared to traditional methods. By using these strategies, SMEs can reduce and create more opportunities for growth. In conclusion, managing costs efficiently and adaptive diversification and innovation are key strategies for SMEs to cope with rising costs. These steps will help businesses remain competitive and achieve long-term success. Thank you.
Now, let's look at the effectiveness of subsidies and cash assistance program in reducing cost of living problems. Firstly, these programs have a broad reach among low-income groups. Initiatives such as STR and SARA are implemented on a large scale, benefiting approximately 9 million households. So this shows that government support is not limited to small group but reaches a significant portion of the population in need. Secondly, there's a significant financial impact for the lowest income families. So this program can provide up to 4,600 per year. This financial aid helps reduce the pressure caused by inflation, especially on essential household expenses like food, utilities, and transportation. Lastly, these measures contribute to poverty alleviation and consumer support. Organizations such as Federation of Malaysian Consumers Association or FOMCA have praised these initiatives for helping families cope with rising costs. They also play an important role in protecting vulnerable groups from sudden changes in market price. In conclusion, subsidies and cash assistance programs are effective because they reach a wide group of people, provide meaningful financial support, and help reduce poverty while stabilizing household spending. Thank you. Today, I will explain two fiscal policy measures in Malaysian budget that help reduce the burden of risking living costs. The first measure is targeted subsidies. The government has moved away from blanket subsidies and more focused on targeted assistance. This means that financial aid is given specifically to those who need it most, such as low-income households. So by reducing general subsidies, the government can save money and redirect funds more efficiently. So as a result, vulnerable groups receive more support to cope with increasing prices of essential goods like food and fuels. The second measure is Cash Assistance Program. Example includes Sumbangan Tunai Rama or STR and Sumbangan Asas Rama known as SARA. These programs provide direct financial aid to eligible citizens. This increases the disposable income of low-income families, allowing them to better afford daily necessities such as groceries, utilities, and transportation. So in conclusion, both targeted subsidies and cash assistance program plays an important role in helping Malaysians manage the rising cost of living by ensuring support is given where it is needed most.
Hello everyone, my name is Surivarman Analaki Saravanan. My metric number is 01DFI25F1046. And today I will be presenting several article and news sources that support the issue of the rising cost of living in Malaysia, especially in relation to the national budget. First, according to the Star, in an article titled Malaysia Budget 2024 focuses on cost of living relief. The government has introduced various initiatives such as subsidies, cash assistance, and targeted aid. These efforts are aimed at reducing the financial burden on households. And next article from New Straits Times titled Budget 2025 Measures to ease rakyat cost of living highlights fiscal policies such as tax relief and financial assistance. These measures are significantly are specially designed to support low and middle income groups, ensuring that they are not left behind during economic challenges. In addition, a report from Bernama State that the rising cost of living remains a major concern among Malaysians. Factors such as inflation and increasing prices of goods and services has placed pressure on people's daily lives. Furthermore, according to the Edge Malaysia, the government is focusing on the target subsidy approach. This method is considered more effective than blanket subsidies because it ensures that assistance reach those who truly need it, while also helping the government manage its spending more efficiently. Lastly, Bank Negara Malaysia (BNM) provides insight into inflation trend and the overall economic situation. Their report explains that controlling inflation is important to stabilize prices and support economic growth, which in turn help to reduce the cost of living in pressure. Overall, all these sources clearly show that the cost of living in Malaysia is a serious issue. However, they also demonstrate that the government and relevant authorities are actively taking steps to address this problem and support the people. Thank you.